Hello, everyone. This is the Harbor and Light. I'm Mary. I give a conservative take about the world around me, so feedback is immensely important. Feel free to reach out to me, and the sources to do so will be provided for you. All right, so some of the audio platforms that I'm on Spreaker, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, just to name a few. All right, so this episode is all about the song Thunder Island. Here we go. Alright, so I'm going to dive into my thoughts about the song before I get into the facts. So, really, the whole overall thoughts. So, in the 70s, that era was really... Alright, so, it's a lot of different pictures or depictions when you think about the 70s. Depending on which market, the early, mid, late... However, there is different perspectives. Some only see the 70s as an era of shag, disco. Some see punk rock. Some see Barry Manilow, so forth. But there's a whole lot of overall unified themes with what I just said. So the 70s was really good with the aspects of understanding that music is the vehicle to great storytelling, and in aspects of films, movies, television. But music is very unique in the aspects of it really reaches people more, it connects people more on an emotional level than most entertainment outlets. So, that's one. But Billy Joel is a really good example of this. And then this particular artist is in the realm of Billy Joel criteria. So Billy Joel, his songs, accompanying with the piano, and then Elton John and so forth, musicians like this, singers like this, they really talk about different sort of aspects of life. And they slow it down to where it makes you can sort of imagine and see these quite clearly. So Billy Joel, for instance, he would talk about the aspects of what it takes to really make your way, especially when you're a young person trying to figure all that sort of things out. And then the aspects about all of these things. So, especially, when you're young and up and coming in New York, and how hard it is, that goes with anywhere else, but really thriving and making it day in and day out, to where if you're not careful, it can overcome you. It could, send you to an early grave, so to speak. And Elton John, he, for the most part, he would talk about things in the aspects of there is cautions or precautions with being young and carefree. Most of the time, most of his music was about that. And so, you get Queen, when they were really powerhouse of storytelling with, but it was a different element in sort of the different aspects of talking about things or making commentary about things. And then it was with that, and then you get bands like Styx and so forth, and they're talking about the aspects of being the overall aspects of being a man in an ever-changing world, and really holding true and to manhood and all of that, and writing a course out with all of these things. And so when you get an artist, particularly with the artist, when with this song, with this singer in his genre, yacht music, so to speak, but he is, I would say, for his sort of criteria, which is strange because The Simpsons really made a good commentary about that, and then it was really notable with, for instance, the late Ozzy Osbourne, when they misrepresented his genre, when they with the aspects of not really understanding what his music is about. So I would say it's beyond just yacht rock, what have you. So this song really takes you on a journey about the aspects of love and falling in love, and the aspects and the wonderment, and accompanying with the background of these sort of picturesque compliments of an island. So when you picture an island, when you think about the whole feel of an island, romance is suited with it. It's depending on if it's isolated or with people. It's very soothing, comforting, and you can just relax, let your hair down, so to speak, and just feel more apt to be open to wanting to get closer to someone. And so that's why yacht music was very apropos to call this, that's yacht rock. It was very apropos to, sort of put it in an undertone umbrella about this sort of music, because when you hear this music, particularly when you have a saxophone, jazz sort of accompaniment in the songs, you really feel at ease, and you feel the aspects of wanting to be in the mood to want to just wind down. And then that's pretty much the whole atmosphere of yacht beach life, just to enjoy the good times. But again, going back into the aspects of the 70s really was really good with saying beyond that what the human element of all of these things mean, and the aspects of something that's beautiful and picturesque. How did those things dwell or break apart when it does happen, and then the aspects of the element of fantasy with that. And so Fantasy Island, a show like Fantasy Island, and then the Love Boat and so forth. And I'll talk about the Love Boat. I'm debating either this week or next week. And so the whole idea of these particular shows was about escapism, and when you think about escapism in the era of the 70s, that means that is a vastly different thing than the era of today, the era of the 80s, 90s, the 30s. Because in the 30s, people were just going through it, the aspects of the Great Depression and so forth. They were really struggling and didn't know what to do, where to go, where their head is up, down, all around. It was really terrible. But in the 70s, there was still the aspects of the economic turmoil, but not so severe. But that's easier said than done. With the people who are really living with it, and the aspects of the oil, the gas prices, and aspects of inflation and so forth. That's a different beast of burden, and people of today can really understand that. But people were really getting the aspects of finding the line between breaking up the classes of upper class, middle class, and then finding your way within that, and finding your way with the aspects of tradition, non-tradition, and the aspects of people getting out of the mentality we don't want to do this free love BS. Let's move on. Let's get more straight laced. Let's figure out another path. Then other than that, everybody wasn't going on the wave of don't trust anybody over 30. That mentality of free will, free this, free that. There was more often than not, the way it was depicted, a lot of people were just toeing the line between tradition, but I knew aspects of tradition to where being conservative was still on the element, but it wasn't so stark to where it's like, okay, you're being really dogmatic in your pursuit of a stable way of life. But with all this said, it's quite understandable and quite easy to see why such great storytelling came out of this era from the 70s, because it was the time where people were really being honest with the situation in which they were looking, facing, and going through. And there was not really a whole lot of superficial vacuumed ideas about the way things should be, and people just had realms to just go and talk and make comments about things from an understandable point of view, a realistic point of view. Now, I didn't need to say that wasn't superficial BS going on at that time. Yeah, of course there was, but it was more in the element to where people were more genuine with their pursuits of everything and stories, and particularly with storytelling. All right, so with all this said, I'm going to get into the aspects of the song. Here we go. All right, so forgive the air condition, the blowers in the background. So I am going to pull up the facts about the song. Here we go. All right, so I'll pull it up for you right quick here. All right, so if I can find it, I know I can. I just had it. All right. Okay. Here we go. All right, so Thunder Island. So I'm going to go into what it's about. So Thunder Island is the title track and lead single from Jay Ferguson's second studio album. So it was released in October of 1977, and it became Ferguson's first hit as a solo artist, peaking at number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100. So the lyrics recount a romantic encounter with a woman on a fictional island of the same name. as the two weather a storm and eventually part ways. The song features slide guitar solo from Joe Walsh and Eagles fame, and was produced by Bill Seismiski, who worked extensively with Walsh. And Joe Walsh was legendary. He still is legendary guitarist and hell of a singer. So while Ferguson is often regarded as a one-hit wonder for the song, he has scored his hits with two previous bands: I Got a Line on You by Spirit and Run 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 by JoJo Gooney, which reached the top 40 in 68 and then again in 72 respectively. So his solo single Shakedown Cruise was a minor hit in 79, peaking at 31. Due to the song's tropical sound and island imagery, Thunder Island has gone to become a staple for yacht rock, as I mentioned earlier, which is, of course, a music genre appearing in various TV shows and films, including Anchorman 2, The Legend Continues, Breaking Bad, and Family Guy. All right, so let's get into some song facts. All right, so let me go back. That's not correct. All right, so to add on to what I just said, so Jay Ferguson was an original member of the 1960 band Spirit, and former, as I was saying, JoJo Gunn, collaboration with bandmate Mark Anders. He released his first solo again, All Alone in the End Zone, in 76, followed by Thunder Island in 78. So both albums were produced by, as I mentioned, Bill Seismiski, who wrote with Ferguson on JoJo Gunn's album, and also he was also a producer for B.B. King, the Eagles, and Elvin Bishop. So Thunder Island was Ferguson's big hit, but he did land the top 40 once more, again with Shakedown Cruise, which charted 31. So it also goes on to say on this track, Ferguson collaborated with his old friend, Joe Walsh, who played the slide guitar on the track, as I mentioned. And so this charted number 9 in the U.S., and again, it was from the album of Thunder Island of 78. So this reaches the end of the Harping Line, and I'd like to know what you all think about the aspects of the song, and then I'd like to know what you all think about the aspects of the genre, which is included with yacht rock, yacht music. And so the overall theme with yacht rock, yacht music is supposed to be, I equate it to the aspects of jazz music. It's supposed to be something that is very soothing, and with the undertones of the saxophone and everything. You're supposed to relax while you're listening to it. But anyway, let me know what you think about today's episode. So this reaches the end of the Harping Light. Tune in, turn up, and definitely take care. Bye-bye for now.